feel like King James.
Sounds like it is straight from the motherfucking cassette.
I hate when you get to a point in your career where people feel like they got you figured out and there's no more surprises. I like people to press play on my stuff and still be surprised.
Turn it up, baby. All the stuff's necessary, yo. Hey, yo. Okay. Hey, yo.
Two, one.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We're back on this March of the Dusttin Bowerman Show. It's fucking Friday. Welcome back to the show. And as you can see, it is fucking Friday. Today is probably the most fucking of Fridays than it could possibly be because, well, first of all, we just don't have that much news today, guys. I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry to break it to you, but listen, today is not exactly a day in which that we have much going on, in this entire week's kind of been like that. We were talking about before this is like esports as a whole. Maybe we'll talk about this later. This is something good to bring up as one of the topics does involve the popularity of esports, but it's like, we're still so far behind, like every other like sport, traditional sport, whatever. It's crazy. There's like, you know how like football, for example. First of all, Max and Anthony, welcome to the show, guys. I mean, obviously we're here today. Welcome. What's going on, boys? It's this fucking Friday, so I mean, obviously we're all fucking. Anthony's bed's not made. My hair's not made. I'm wearing a headset, dude. Is it not made? Well, turn around. Let's see your bed, Anthony. Let's see your fucking bed, bud. Huh? Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
all
actually
right.
pretty fancy.
All right. He was listening to the criticisms. Right. He stood up to people that said his bed was not made. I mean, listen, I'm proud of you, Anthony. I think, hey, hats off to you, even though I don't have a hat on. I mean, that's good shit, man. You know, I'm proud of you, Anthony.
What is on your head, dude?
What, on my head or Anthony's head?
Your head.
Oh, this is a headset. I mean, obviously, listen, this is how fucking Friday has been going. I mean, obviously, because of the fact that it is fucking Friday, but also my AirPods just weren't working for some reason. I was just trying to connect them to my MacBook
Apple.
I mean, to my laptop, and they just weren't connecting. You know what I'm saying? My pair laptop, my pair top. What would that call Mac? Pair top? I don't know. Anyways, dude, remember that's how iCarly went. This is off topic for fucking Friday, but you remember how iCarly used to have like Pear product instead of Apple product? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Dude, that was a good. You didn't watch iCarly, Anthony? Were you not an iCarly watcher?
Were you?
Yes. Are you kidding me, dude? I was fucking. See, Max did, dude. I was a big Spencer and Freddie fan. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. And Sam, I mean, I'd say Carly was probably the crush, the celebrity crush or whatever. Sam had her moments, Sam had her moments, and then spoiler alert, Sam and Freddie got together at the end of iCarly. Then that ruined the entire show for me. So, I mean, obviously, you don't want to see your childhood crush get fucking in a relationship in the show, man. That just ruins the whole shtig. You know what I'm saying? That ruins.
I got too old to watch that show at that point.
Well, exactly. That was the point. That's when the show was like getting out of touch almost, and like getting too old. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to grow up their audience, and they realized like we probably can't do this without getting into like some sort of fucking Degrassi fucking shit.
They also made a spin-off show after that where Sam has a show with Ariana Grande.
Yeah. You're talking about the music one? Or is that something else entirely?
I don't know. I have no idea. I just found out about it.
That one was more teenager focused instead of kid focused. Like that one was the what is it called? Not Victorious. Yeah. I liked that show decently, but it was definitely more targeted towards girls and stuff like that than me. So I mean, listen, whatever. Anyways, welcome back. My show, however, is targeted towards targeted towards people involved in esports and you guys that like esports as a whole. Obviously, because today, right now, Call of Duty is going on, VCT is going on, League of Legends LCS is happening. I think as of 10 minutes ago, it just started up. So today is a pretty cool day for esports, just to watch. Like I think, like we talked about before, there's not really. In terms of news, it feels like we don't have as big as a magnifying glass. However, we did find out some interesting things today. Jake Lucky found a TikToker that had, I want to say, me and Samantha found this out earlier, that had like 7 followers on his TikTok. His TikTok was by the name of T-Swab, right? And there were some interesting comments he made about NickMercs not being, NickMercs being like a not great streamer because of the fact that he doesn't shout out his subscribers and stuff like that. So obviously, I don't think that is the correct thing to actually focus on NickMercs in criticism. It's not a good criticism, I think, of NickMercs. But we'll talk about that later, and maybe why you should probably roast this guy as much as other people are. Now, Anthony's also going to talk about Tekken Pro that went to Pakistan to level up and to hit the fucking next level, the next Goku level or whatever. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan, I'm sorry. I know Anthony probably is. But he did level up. He did get better after traveling to Pakistan and got stronger. Nobody really thought. I mean, Pakistan's an underrated area for esports. I mean, there's been a couple other players, in Dota 2, other esports. I don't know as many other ones that have had Pakistan top players. But Pakistan has some outstanding individuals in esports that are actually pretty underrated, I think. We'll talk about that later. Anthony will bring that up. And then also, MIBR, the same team that owns LA Valiant or has owned LA Valiant and then also owns Immortals Gaming Club, that company or whatever, IGC, they are picking up a new Rainbow Six Siege team after dropping their roster less than like a day ago or something like that. So they've made some transitions. It seems like they've sold some players and are trying to get in that mindset they're trying to make money just by selling players. We'll talk about that later. Maybe a good topic to bring up later when we talk about MIBR and IGC and maybe their future plans in our speculations, because obviously I want to just, before we get into any speculation, stuff like that, I do want to specify that it is me speculating. People have mentioned how we should probably try to talk about things that are fact and then make sure we let people know that are speculation. So we're going to try to do that and implement that in the show. Also, Max is going to talk about February's top esports tournaments, the top tournaments in esports in February. Seems like every month there's a new report by somebody on what the top esports are, so he's going to talk about that as well. And then also a website by the name of KB Views talked about why esports is so popular. He brought up a bunch of statistics and et cetera, and et cetera, and et cetera. And I thought it was an interesting article. I kind of skimmed through it, but like they put a bunch of stats down. It was like a bunch of stats talking about why esports is so successful, why it's so popular. So that's good. It was actually a solid article. It just was a little bit clickbaity, and their picture wasn't that good. You know what I'm saying? And then also, Razer is inventing or is making a new smart glasses, guys. A new, not Google Glass. It's just actual glasses. It's actual non-prescription glasses. However, it does have blue light filters and stuff like that. We'll talk about it later. It has a $200 price tag. We'll talk about Razer's new glasses and maybe also some other lifestyle products they have, like the caffeine gum and stuff like that. And my opinion on caffeine gum in that area, maybe we'll talk about that later as well. And then Casores will join us at 4 p.m. PST to chat everything being coach, SF Shock, Atlanta Reign, Poopinator stuff, because everybody wants to know about the Poopinator as per usual. We'll talk to him about that later, because Casores is a lot of people's speculation in the Atlanta Reign team house, the players that have played on the Atlanta Reign team weren't in that mansion, that Casores was the Poopinator. That was something that, everybody speculated. Maybe Casores will talk about that later. Maybe we'll talk about how the fact that I got him stung by a bee. Talk about that as well. But first of all, there's a TikToker by the name of T-Swamp that was brought to everybody's attention through Jake Lucky's Twitter, right? So Jake Lucky, obviously famous for Esports Talk. We talk about him a lot. He's an awesome dude, nice guy. We talk to him every now and again. He mentioned how he posted a TikTok, right? And there was TikTok about this guy named T-Swamp, right? And this guy was recording himself with his phone. He's chilling there. He's just like talking to his phone. And then he also showed NickMercs' stream, and he was saying, hey, why is there so many streamers, so many top streamers that don't read off subscribers' name? That was his big thing. He was like, why are there not people that read off their subscribers' names or even mention / understand the fact that they're being subscribed to and stuff like that? Like, he was talking about how there's a guy that's subscribing for 2 months, guy that's subscribing for 7 months, guy that's subscribing for 46 months or whatever. And he was like, NickMercs does not talk about these guys at all. So that was his main complaint or whatever. And then at the end of it all, he said, like, I understand that he's such a big streamer and there's so many people to pay attention to, but it's like that just took away his entire argument. I just want to talk about it because a lot of people are overreacting. I feel like this guy is going to get a lot of unnecessary hate from NickMercs fans. I do like the fact that NickMercs is super ingrained to the community. Like, he's insanely awesome in terms of just overall participation. You know what I mean? Like, he, for the most part, has replied to even me and stuff like that on tweets and kind of just overall replying to people on, thanks, Daniel, on Twitter and in the social sphere. He's like very active, right? And I think that's awesome. Like, not many big streamers and personalities and, stars in our scene like to interact. I mean, for good reason, right? Like, I mean, even our show. I mean, Max and Anthony, how much do you guys interact with like our comment section and stuff like that? How much do you guys look at that kind of shit, or like not at all?
I read it sometimes.
Yeah?
Sometimes.
Do you guys like it, or do you guys think it's a bad thing? Do you think it hurts the mental?
It's good.
It's annoying? It's good?
Yeah, at times. But most of the time it's for the algorithm, which is fun to watch.
Yeah, for the most part, it's not very, like directly interactive, I suppose. Maybe we'll try to find a way to make people more integrated in the scene.
I still like
like
seeing that.
Yeah, it is cool. It is funny. I think the For the Algorithm jokes are amazing. They're fucking sick. But like, regardless, it's actually, that meme started on TikTok, right? And this guy was roasting NickMercs for his I don't know, not shitty takes or anything like that. It was just like how he was talking to his party members instead of his chat. Obviously, we're not at the size of NickMercs. Like, NickMercs has like 60,000 people. So, I mean, obviously, yeah, I got to make everything cringe now. But obviously, for the most part, you know, can you understand NickMercs' perspective in the fact that he, you know, maybe has too many people and he just can't look at his subscriber count or his subscribers or chat because it moves so fast?
I mean, even in slow mode, it's hard to read that chat.
Yeah.
I mean, for just the subscribers, I can't imagine it being too bad. I mean, it's not like it's constant, right?
So you're saying that he should, like, do you think he has an obligation to,
That's
what this guy was saying.
But there's absolutely no obligation.
So
People should be recognizing that they're not going to get their name read off anyway. If I like,
yeah, exactly.
Just look at someone else didn't, so why should you expect it? Like you should know that this is what this stream is going to do. It's really not that hard to figure that out.
I agree with you. I think, okay, well, I just want to point out this T-Swab guy is probably getting too much hate. Like, I just want to real quick say that, like, this guy is not really that bad of a dude just for, like, complaining that he didn't get his name read out or whatever. He was just probably salty. He probably is not a NickMercs fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it depends, like you mentioned, like, you need to know the context of each of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to understand the context of these streamers. For example, streamer by the name of Vinesauce, right? This guy has, I want to say, like 10,000 people watching every now and again, 7 to 10,000, like that concurrent viewership numbers, right? Which is still a lot of people. But he exclusively makes it a rule that he does not show subscriber notifications on his stream. Like, while the stream is live, there's no notifications, there's no sounds, there's like nothing, right? And his entire purpose of that is so that it doesn't take away from the gameplay experience and from the comedy and the content, right? And I know that's pretty much a similar thing to NickMercs. He still has notifications on, but like, if you're subscribing to a streamer, I mean, I feel like for the most part, this should just be like common sense, but maybe it's not because Twitch is like such a new platform. Like, maybe this guy's just like a new Twitch viewer as of like 6 months ago or whatever, right? But I feel like people that watch Twitch and stuff like that, you understand the only reason you subscribe, or a big reason you subscribe, right, is just to support the person that you're watching, right? That should be the biggest reason, right? I mean, I guess I understand if you're like a kid, you know what I mean? And you're just like, oh, I want to see my name and read off and shit like that, right? Which there are streamers that do that, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Summit does that. And like, there's people that do that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to go to NickMercs to get, like, you should know the context still, but I don't know. It's an interesting debate because I guess I was in that boat too at one point. Like, I was like, I'm waiting to hit the subscriber moment. Or like, this is probably like the typical Twitch chat like person where they're like, I'm going to wait for the specific moment in time when my streamer is not playing the game, not talking to his friends. He's at a downtime. He's not talking to chat. Oh my God, it's the perfect time for me to click resubscribe. Click it. And then you're like, it goes up, a notification sound like, welcome back to the subscriber fam or whatever. And then you're just like waiting. You're like, oh man, he's going to say my name. He's going to say my name. He's going to say my name. 1 minute goes by. He's going to say my name. Why has he not said my name yet? Why has he not said my name? And then like 5 minutes goes by and you're like, oh, never subscribing again to this guy, dude. He didn't say my fucking name, man. It's like, I feel like that's probably the common Twitch chat user that's just like doesn't understand how it works. And I feel like that's this guy, you know, like we can't hate him for, you can't hate somebody for just wanting attention. Like, can you hate somebody for being an attention whore?
Do you actually get off on people just reading your name for 1 second?
I mean, it's, you know, you get a small like endorphin, like you get a small like dopamine rush. You know what I mean? Like, you do get like, you're like $5 down. You're like, oh man, I hope he reads my name. Like, that'd be cool.
Give me the happy chemicals.
Yeah, give me the, you know what I mean? Like, I want him to read my name, dude. And then just like it never happens, and then you're just like, well, it's like being ghosted. You know what I'm saying? Like getting ghosted on Tinder or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You're like, fuck, man. Like I just paid $5 for Tinder Gold. You're not gonna talk to me, dude. Like, what the fuck, man? It's like that for Twitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like a similar thing. What, Anthony? Why are you looking? Anyways, regardless of Tinder or Twitch, like everything kind of relates into that same degree. I think as humans, it's only natural that you want to be paid attention to. I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's world revolves around themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, maybe not. Like, people can say, like, oh, my world doesn't. You know what I'm saying? But it does, right? Like, you only see the world through your own lens. And from that same degree, that streamer is probably fucking busy. Like, from his lens, he's just, like, streaming the game, trying to make good content with his friends, trying to stay in the mood, staying like, because I imagine probably for NickMercs, it's like, it probably takes him out of the vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it probably takes him out of, like, the mojo of streaming if he's just, like, talking to chat.
I don't know how he just keeps that high energy the entire time.
You just have to be like in a good mood like the whole time, and that's probably he has bad days. I imagine like every streamer has a bad day where they're just not going to be in the mood or whatever, right? And even every pro player, for example, if we go to esports, right? If you're, for example, you're like, oh, my favorite pro that like he's shit in the bed today. Like what the fuck? Why is he so shit? Fuck this guy. You played such a bad game. Types on the internet. Oh my God, Dogman played so shit today, dude. He's so fucking trash. And it's like you have to understand these guys are people that probably just have bad days too. You know what I'm saying? And I can't imagine like NickMercs just like always wants to interact with his chat. Or like he will interact with his chat. Like he'll say stories that about his time in the military and stuff like that. Like I don't know. People used to be understanding. This guy's just not very understanding. But also we can be understanding to his perspective too. I think we always have to take that perspective in which that we need to be understanding of the other situation. We haven't done in the past, like always. Like for example, with the Cloud9 situation, like we were not extremely understanding of Cloud9's perspective at all in the original take. So we have to be fair to every side at the same time. But I mean, we can still have our opinions. That guy can have his opinion. He's just wrong. Right? He's just fucking wrong for saying NickMercs is an asshole for not reading his chat,
Is he that wrong for saying that $5 he should get a recognition or something?
I mean, yes, it depends on the streamer you're talking to or like you're watching. I think yes, he is wrong. Because like if you're I don't know, like just go subscribe to somebody that's going to do that for you. I feel like if you watch somebody long enough, you should know what their interaction with their subscribers is or what moments they do. Maybe wait for that moment. That's the skill in being a Twitch chatter is you find out those moments when they'll actually read off your name. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, it's my time. It's fucking that's a timing thing, I guess.
Gotta put it in.
Yeah, put in the work.
Or just do one of those.
Put in the time as a Twitch viewer.
Those donations that read off like a custom message or something.
Yeah, do that or something like that and subscribe. But I mean, like people also want the badge and stuff like that. But speaking about Twitch, Max, I mean, we are moving to Twitch next week. I just want to shout this out again because.
So is this confirmed?
It is confirmed. We are going to move to Twitch for at least a month next week. Okay, for at least a month. We're going to try it out. We're going to stream on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Dusttin Bowerman. We'll be live there, but highlights and everything like that is still going to be uploaded on the regular schedule. So anybody in the YouTube chat right now, I'm sure you love it here, but I feel like the most of you probably also are ingrained in Twitch anyways, or just watch the highlights regardless. So anyways, that was just a quick talk about that. We'll announce more over the weekend, and get everything more settled out over there. Yeah, I think this NickMercs situation is pretty much wrapped up. I mean,
Yeah. So anyway. Bit of old news happened like before COVID happened, but I wanted to talk about it because I think it's cool. Tekken Pro Knee traveled to Pakistan for a whole training arc. Basically, he traveled to Pakistan because he lost against the Pakistani legend Arslan Ash, so he considered him a rival. Like he said, Arslan Ash has been on my mind because I kept losing to him on the Tekken World Tour and EVO. So he traveled there, and over the course of 3 days, he played 42 matches of first to 5s and first to 10s, and a singular first to 15 against Arslan Ash. And if we could pull up this image I put in the chat earlier, was he has a 40, or out of 42 games, he won 39 of them with a win rate of 92.85%. He was pretty good.
But
so
is
right
he
after,
the best?
Right after that, in the tournament, he clinched getting out of groups and into playoffs by specifically beating Arslan Ash.
Oh.
So
it did work out for him.
Yeah, it all worked out.
Why did he help him, dude? That the Pakistani dude should have just denied his fucking
basically
matches.
What happened while he was there is everyone like knows Knee, right? Like he is the Tekken legend.
Yeah.
So like they all revere him, they
want to play
respect him.
against him.
They want to play against him. Like everyone over there that's in the fighting game community, they all love him.
I feel like that's like the culture in fighting game community. You don't really there's no staying away from like doing scrims and things like that. What do you call those?
Just friendlies.
Scrims.
Friendlies.
Friendlies, I guess. Yeah, there's not any difference. It's just like it's stupid. I don't know. I agree. There's no reason not to take a scrim against a good opponent, right? Like that's just stupid. Like a good practice session against somebody that's actually good at the game. Like why would you not do that?
It's a good learning experience.
Yeah.
or sorry, but like I think Daigo is like one of those that's infamous for not doing friendlies.
What? Daigo doesn't actually do, like, practice?
Yeah, like he
What?
like makes his combos and things secret.
Oh, what the fuck? But you can see him do them live on stage anyways, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Which
it's
I
a
guess
first
that-
time reveal every time.
I mean,
Yeah.
that makes like that's like kind of next level strategy that's just like hard to pull off. You know what I'm saying? Like that would in theory be awesome, right? If you could just not practice against other people playing the game. But like where else would you get your practice, I guess? Like that's like the biggest concern cuz like if you look at traditional sports, like you're like, "Oh, you know, NFL teams don't practice against each other, right? Like that'd be stupid. They have like a practice squad and they play against them." But
Exactly.
the problem is in esports, like people have tried to implement this already. Like an Overwatch League, for example. I know this is kind of an off-topic thing, but we can kind of diverge onto this, Anthony. Where Overwatch League, like LA Valiant, they tried to make a B team. Atlanta Reign tried to make a B team. But usually what happens is either some sort of mismanagement happens with this team, or the B team just isn't as highly skilled as like the main team, right? As the team that's trying to practice against them. So you have both of these things like going against it. For example, LA Valiant's B team, they just simply were not as good as the main team for LA Valiant. But then you look at the Atlanta Reign, then you have the Atlanta Reign B team, right? We had a B team that we practiced against and was fucking good. Like they would beat the main team a lot of the times. But the problem is because they were so good, there was a lot of like internal strife between the B team, in the A team, and the B team, in the coaches, because of the fact that a lot of players on the B team thought they were good enough to play on the A team, right? Which makes sense because they were winning scrims versus the A team. So it's like, why would you not think that you could be put into the game? You know what I'm saying? So then it creates like a issue where they need to have a good managerial system where the B team can be managed in a way where like egos are not taken over or something like that. Or I don't know, like it's just, you can't really do it in esports because everybody wants to compete at the top because that's where you make the most money, you know? So obviously you don't want to just settle for being a practice squad dude, you know? So I don't know. It's interesting.
And it's kind of hard to like move up because there's also contracts that go with it and things like that.
Yeah. You have contractually, like I was actually trying out for the LA Valiant B team, like I mentioned, the same one I mentioned. I was trying out for them in season 1 of Overwatch League because I didn't get into Overwatch League season 1, so I tried out for their B team. And I remember they were telling me when they had the contract, and I saw the contract, they were like, "Yeah, if we picked you up, you would only be, you know, a B team, dude. Like that would be your entire life is just playing on the practice squad and helping the A team out." But I didn't join the LA Valiant B team, and then what happened was over the course of the year, like I mentioned, like not only were they not good enough, but on top of that, they were in a situation where they could never level up. Basically, they would never be promoted, they would never move up. So what's their motivation? You know what I mean? Like you need to give these guys some sort of motivation. What the motivation to help the main team look better when you have no chance to even get into the main team? Why would you want to help them out? You know what I mean? Like what is the motivation behind helping the main team out? Like long term, it just feels weird. It feels like a waste of time. You would need some, like I mentioned, you would need some sort of really high level managerial skills to make it work. Like I don't even know what you could do to make it work. Like what does the NFL do to make that work? Just have a lot of fucking people, and then also just ego aside, just be like, you can get replaced by any of our practice squad members at any time.
Yeah, basically, you just have to show up.
Yeah. So I mean, for the most part, the thing is like Overwatch League teams just don't look at that and take it into account because, and esports teams don't as well, because you have to bear in mind synergy, I guess, and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, like synergies, at least in Overwatch and other esports, matter a lot. I don't know if it does. Like, I know League of Legends had like a team, like I think Cloud9 was like a team that, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where they were like, they kept subbing people in and out, you know what I mean? And it actually worked decently well for them. But the problem is that created like a rift within their own team where people like were like, I don't know if I'm going to lose my job this day or not, you know, like got people like upset and shit like that. Which that is like the normal state of an NFL player, right? Like the normal state of an NFL player is like, yeah, I could be fucking replaced at any moment if I don't show up, right? But in esports, I guess you're given more of a cushion because there's less people that are hungry to get your job, I guess. So you have like a bigger cushion between benched or not benched, I guess. It's like interesting. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about this topic another day again, but Yeah, you look like you had to say something, Max. What? Or no?
I was just gonna say, like, there's also, I don't know if you saw the video that I sent you about like the Mariners owner controversy.
Yeah. Was it by John Boys in Secret Labs and stuff?
Yeah, it had that thing where people were holding tier 2 people back, not because they're not good enough, but because they just don't want to pay them yet.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
There could be that thing too, where maybe the academy team on like Overwatch, I don't know if that kind of scenario would ever happen in esports, because you want the best team anyway, and it's not that much more expensive because you would just drop the other person.
Well, they're
It's
in a
not like
scenario.
an added roster.
You bring up a good point, because they're in a scenario where a lot of teams probably don't want to pay extra, for example, like for some players, and that's why they'll keep them on 2-way contracts. But I think a larger part in esports does seem to be nepotism. Like, this is like a big narrative in esports, is that like a large part in where you get and how far you get in esports and stuff like that is to, be in close contact with somebody and be friends with them, and then they'll bring you to their team, right? Like that is a large part in esports, I think. Like, I don't like just to admit, like, I think a large part of my career, why it wasn't that as good as it was, or like as why I didn't get into season 1, for example, whatever, was because it was just a large part of it is like a who you know. Like, if you look at the season 1 teams in Overwatch League, for example, they were some dog shit teams. Like, probably 9 out of 10 teams, or like 9 out of 12 teams, probably 10 out of 12 teams, could have been way better if they just selected other people instead of people that were just their friends. Like, look at the Houston Outlaws. Houston Outlaws was an entire contenders team that wasn't even like the top contenders team at the time, right? Like, they were just they knew the GM, and the GM picked up everybody for that team, right? That was a large part in why the Houston Outlaws became a team in season 1, was because they all knew Flame, and Flame them got them on contracts and stuff like that, and that was how it is. But that happens a lot more, right? I'm not blaming Houston Outlaws for what they did, right? But that's like the general consensus of esports, is where teams will always pick their friend over somebody that's better, right? Unless they're a Korean player or something like that in esports, right? Like, you will always pick your friend or somebody you know over somebody that's better than whatever. And that's just how esports works right now. It's not, like I said, it's not just Houston Outlaws. Like, I'm sure that's partially why I got into the Atlanta Reign. I know that's not entirely why, I think, for the Atlanta Reign, because I also had offers from Boston and Atlanta Reign, so I know it was because of my skill. But, a large part of why I was on teams in other situations, like, for example, when I was on the Tier 2 team with Moth and those guys, and we just dominated contenders, it wasn't because I was necessarily better than everybody else. It was because I knew Dalton and Moth, and they were like, hey, we want to play with this guy after we kick Haku or whatever. Like, this is a large part in esports, right? Is internal conversations between teams and their potential free agents and stuff like that, and just who you know. Like, a large part is who you know. But that's not everything. Like, knowing people in the who you know thing only matters if you're a really good player, right? Like, I just want to make this clear. It's just like the thing when we talking about like peripherals and mice and keyboards, right? We were talking about how it doesn't matter how good your fucking mouse and keyboard is, right? That doesn't matter. It's not going to impact if you're a pro player or not, right? It's like that. It's like who you know doesn't matter if the person you know doesn't think you're good. You know what I mean? Like, they still need to think you're good. You still need to be good to even have a chance, to even have like a longer lasting career. So the who you know only can carry you for so long, but it is very, very helpful because a large part of esports still is nepotism. And that was like I mentioned, that's a large reason why I didn't even get into season 1 of Overwatch League. Wasn't necessarily because of my skill, because like I said, we dominated contenders where we played in tier 2 or whatever. But like a large part of why I didn't get onto Boston Uprising, for example, was because I pissed off Huck, right? Like, in season 1, when I was practicing with the academy squad and stuff like that, like, I was a very adamant person to Huck. I was like, hey, I'm really good. I want to play for you guys. I really want to fucking play with you guys. And I was so annoying to where he just like was like fed up with me or something like that, I imagine. Like, he was just like, bro, shut the fuck up. Stop DMing me, Like, he didn't tell me that at all, but like that's probably what happened afterwards. Like, Huck, the general manager of Boston Uprising season 1, probably just didn't want to pick me up based on the fact that I was so fucking annoying. You know what I mean? Like, with my comms, with my general persistence to try to get into the league, because I was super fucking hungry. Like, I was really hungry. Like, I really wanted to be in Overwatch League season 1, and I was willing to put everything on the line, be as many messages as I had to message to the general managers as possible, play as good as I can in the matches, fucking try my ass off, yell in communication, like, just be like, diva, but like fucking to another level, like crack cocaine levels. You know what I'm saying? Like I would be absolutely batshit crazy to a point where it was just annoying, and that was probably had to do with the fact where Huck didn't pick me up, and then I started to kind of fight back with Huck, for example, when I'd be like, oh man, like I would like, for example, I would shit on Striker, I would shit on the flex support they were looking at to pick up, and I'd just be like, I would talk shit or something like that. I would like talk shit in the chat or something else or whatever. And then that would just be a bad look on me, right? Like that'd be a bad look on me for doing that. And I was lucky enough to have people in the future that actually looked past that and looked at like the shit talk and that kind of stuff as a good thing, in which that was Atlanta Reign did in season 2. Like we had like a team that liked the shit talk. We had coaches that liked that kind of shit because they knew that there was a mental warfare aspect to it. But not everybody, especially not in Overwatch, not a lot of people like shit talk. Like generally it's just looked down upon. And because I was such a big shit talker and stuff like that, because I was so passionate and had a lot of care, it turned a lot of people off. You know what I mean? I don't. This is just coming along those lines of nepotism and stuff like that, I guess, and that's why a lot of players are picked up and stuff like that. I guess I don't know. This was a little bit of a tangent, so sorry for running with it for a little bit too long, but that's kind of the case, I guess.
Makes sense. Like if you, I guess if you're a good player, but you don't know anyone, you're not going to get into the leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
But to get to, for people to notice you, you have to be good.
Yeah, exactly. You have to, in people, if you are really, really good, people will pay attention and people will like find you. You know what I mean? Like, for example, you have Dalton in Overwatch. Like, he was found because he was super good at Tracer. Or you have Saucy when Saucy was really, really good. He was like, people saw on Ranked, on Ladder, like how good these guys are. Like, you will be noticed if you are that good, and if you're consistently that good, and like every team you're on, for example, just wins, then that just is obvious that you're just like an absolute carry player. You know what I mean? Like, you are just a legend to that degree, I guess. But we can move on. We can go to a different topic because this might not be necessarily based on nepotism or whatever. This is kind of different. This goes to Rainbow Six Siege. We'll lightly gloss over it. Rainbow Six Siege in MIBR, the team that is owned by IGC, the same team that owned LA Valiant. They picked up X Team 1, right? So Team 1 was a former team that was I think Samantha mentioned it was like a tier 2, tier 3 team in Rainbow Six Siege, and now they're picking up for their main roster. And it's interesting because of the fact that we don't really know how good this team is, I suppose. Like, there's not much for MIBR. It's weird. It was weird, first of all, they dropped their entire roster, but then second of all, just to pick up this team, and then Team 1 has to find a roster for the next team. Like, the whole situation is kind of interesting. But like, the team is pretty good. Like, the former team that was Team 1 placed second in November 2020 in the major in Brazil. So they're not that bad of a team, and now getting signed to MIBR for the Rainbow Six Pro League, I mean, it's good for them, dude. Like, honestly, awesome for them. From what Samantha's told me, it seems like MIBR is doing this thing, and IGC is still doing their thing, where in Rainbow Six Siege, they like sold some of their players to FaZe Clan, right? Like, where they're trying to make some money off some players, right? They did the same thing in Overwatch League, where they're selling their, like, kind of selling, like merging their roster or whatever for money, right? And then, they're just kind of trying to sell and make the profit, you know what I'm saying? It seems like to a lot of people that MIBR and IGC is trying to, I think Slasher talked about it when he was on our show the other day. He was talking about how, like, yeah, it seems like IGC is trying to make it for, like I don't know, like, make a break for it almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to sell, and then just kind of break even or make some money or something like that, and then get out of esports. That's what it kind of seems like IGC is doing. But they still picked up a new roster. They could still be solid, and overall, hey, good luck to them in Rainbow Six Siege, man. Like, good luck to them. But maybe we'll have to keep more attention to Rainbow Six, so I know what I'm talking about here, because for the most part, like, yeah, with Rainbow Six, I know a little bit, but probably not enough to where we're entirely competent as a show to talk about it. But nevertheless, this still makes our news.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
Here's another topic. The February top tournaments were released on esports charts. There's sometimes, like, a lot of people say how unreliable these numbers are, but it's still fun to report on them. So why not? Yeah. So number 1, surprise again. It was Mobile Legends Bang Bang. You remember that game that we were talking about last time?
Yeah.
Last month, probably.
Oh my God, it's back.
Rip off of League of Legends. Well, it's back at number 1 at like 600,000 peak viewers. I think I guess it's important to note that it's like a very Indonesian popular game, or at least the
Yeah.
tournament was Indonesian. And some people wouldn't really realize this, but the population of Indonesia is almost as big as the U.S.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
I didn't
says
know that.
almost 300 million people. So
What the
you
fuck?
can kind of see why Mobile Legends
Yeah.
is number one, and they're all playing it, I guess, over there.
Yeah.
But
I don't-
you know,
That's interesting.
enough of that game. We don't really care about that game.
What the fuck, man?
What do you mean? You never played it?
Why is Indonesia such a big country? I'm curious about that. Like, why the fuck is it so big?
I don't know. I'd like to go there one day, but
Is it bigger than Australia, like population wise?
yeah, it's
Wow.
number 4 in the world.
What the fuck? What the hell? Why does it have such a big population?
I don't know.
We need we need a
But-
history lesson, dude. We need a
I wonder
history
if we have
lesson.
any fans there.
Yeah, we could.
I'd
We
like
might.
to know about the country more.
Yeah. I'll let
But,
you go.
you
I'm
know,
sorry.
Number 2, Katowice CSGO. Number 3, LEC. Number 4, Blast. Number 5, LCK. So CSGO and League. No
Yeah.
really big surprises there, but
No.
they're all at like 500,000 peak viewers each. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know why. Well, I'm curious because I guess COD League just started up, but like they had a peak viewer on. I don't remember what the peak viewership for day 1 was of COD League, but I remember how Optic, whenever they play, have a lot of viewers. So I'm curious why COD League's not up there. But I guess maybe it's not as popular. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
This is worldwide too, keep in mind.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
LCS isn't on there. But if you look at the English only chart, then LCS is number 1. The LCS lock-in specifically, the finals.
Yeah.
And then it's LEC. And then Twitch Rivals Streamer Bowl, the Fortnite thing.
No way. Oh
That's
my
number
God.
3.
That's
That's
crazy.
number 3 in the English only. And then Katowice and then Blast.
Twitch Rivals is
So-
always interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really like Fortnite, but it's fun to watch streamers sometimes on that.
Well, they were talking about how this should have been a topic today, but like viewership for like Valorant, for example, has been absolutely crazy. It's been absolutely fucking crazy. Let me see if I can find the statistics. So in March 5th, this is just this month. This is not February. So this is my camera died. Rip. What the fuck?
Oh no.
Camera.
Oh God. What
Where'd
the
he
hell?
go?
Everything just died on me, dude. Oh my God.
Wait, do you have your close camera?
No, that one also died. Here, quick, turn
Oh.
away, Daniel. Turn away, dude. All right, Max, keep talking about fucking Valorant or something, dude.
Valorant? Do we have any Valorant news? I don't think we have any more Valorant news, but I guess we can talk a little bit about like what was they have like a third chart that's like Russian only. I don't know why that's very relevant here, but apparently they were watching CSGO, Katowice again, Blast, and then Dota. So I guess in Russia and Europe, Dota 2 is very popular still.
Yeah.
When's the last time you played Dota?
It's been a few years. Decided it wasn't for me.
When's the last time you played even League?
When I played Earth. No. Garbage game
Right.
sometimes, but you know, it's a
I fixed
game.
it. We're good.
Fixed it.
Um,
Finally good.
Dustin,
I don't know what happened.
did you give up on playing League too? I know you were like trying to get good last month or something like that.
Yeah, but like I figured, like specifically with our show a little bit, like I think for the most part, I'm trying to focus on FPSs because that's what I'm good at. Like I'm not good at MOBAs, so I'm not going to focus on MOBAs.
Same, but I'm bad at both.
Well, exactly. There you go. You can just be shit at both of them. I was talking about Valorant, I think, right? I don't know where your guys' conversation went, but so apparently the co-streams for Valorant and stuff like that have reached over like 150,000 people like watching them because Shroud's been watching it. So I'm pretty sure when the report of the top viewed of March comes out, right? I'm pretty sure Valorant will be up there, right? Because it's been absolutely crazy. Like the people like Shroud watching it, a bunch of these streamers watching it, right? Like the co-streams have been absolutely crazy. Now I don't think
that makes me think if co-streams are recorded on these charts or not. I'll have to look into that.
I think so. I think it's every stream. Maybe not though. Maybe you're right. It's interesting because without the co-streams, Valorant really wasn't doing that great viewership wise. Like it wasn't really that crazy viewership wise without the co-streams. But now with the co-streams, it's crazy because Shroud's watching it, a lot of those guys are watching it, and they're actually getting good viewership. Now
that's actually funny. Shroud's stream has
Yeah.
3 times more views than the actual stream.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really know if it's because people are watching Valorant or because they're watching Shroud watch Valorant or something like that. I saw apparently 100 just made Masters, but apparently also I saw that Slasher said that everything looks good for Valorant right now. It's all amazing. I don't think we're really in the clear just yet. Like, I'm a huge Valorant fan, right? I'm a huge Valorant competitive esports fan. Probably my number one esports right now that I'm trying to play at and try to get good at, right? I want to be a Radiant player, so I have some backings for what I'm talking about Valorant. But I don't really know if I'm as confident as everybody else is on this. Like, I don't know if this is really a great sign or whatever. It's like, it's just a co-stream, dude. Like you're only getting big viewership because you have Shroud watching it, you know? So I'm just concerned in terms of the fact that, like, I want to see longevity for these kind of things, like with the actual streams themselves, right? Where the streams aren't getting just 20, 30,000 viewers, they're getting like 100,000 views on a Valorant tournament, you know, like a live tournament or whatever. Like, that would be fun. But I guess if the way of the future is co-streams, you know, I guess it's not that big of a deal if you don't have that much viewership on your mainstream, right? I don't know.
Oh.
It's interesting. I mean, I guess because they were mentioning how co-stream is like the way of the future. So
it is kind of weird that, like, you need to have like a co-host on top of like the casters that you already had inside the game to make it even more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it does add like another layer, I guess. Yeah, it does add like another layer. I don't know. I mean, if it's the way of the future, it's the way of the future. You know, I mean, I guess you can't really change, because it does make it more interesting if you see your favorite personality watching something or whatever, right? Like, it makes it obviously people would rather watch instead of like casters that they don't like. Why would they just not want to watch somebody that is directly more popular or like whatever, just watching their co-streaming the game, right? Like, I know I don't want to disrespect thing or anything like that, but like the more I'm thinking about it, it's like, how crucial is it to be good at casting instead of just being good at streaming and having an entertaining personality that people want to watch? Like, I don't know. Like, the way I see
different
it,
things, aren't they?
they are different things. But that's my point, is that how valuable is casting when you could just have a co-stream without the casters, instead just have a personality watching over it in a more casual setting that people would rather watch than casters. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think I like
that's
having good
interesting.
casters, though.
I do too. However, I think the majority of people would rather watch Shroud or Summit or Ninja or whatever watch a game than to have like really good casting. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that. Like, imagine if the NFL like did a thing where they, instead of just having really good commentators, they just had a bunch of small streams or whatever, a bunch of streams watching, where you just had like former NFL players that were like big personalities or something like that, just chilling and watching or whatever. Like, I feel like that would be more popular. Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from casters, but I'm thinking about it. It's interesting because I feel like people would, at least in streamer culture and Twitch culture and in this kind of shit, it would make more sense that more people would rather just watch the people that are more popular, you know, than the actual casters that are commentating the game.
Yeah. Daniel sent us a good point how, like, usually, like, in contrast with sports, esports, usually the viewers are players and people who are actually into the game and know all the players and the tactics and things like that too. So they may not even want even a caster even. They just want to have someone that they can listen to and be entertained with or relate with or something.
I don't know. I disagree.
Maybe it could be the future.
I disagree. So Daniel says that the casting is better for the casual audience, and hardcore fans will prefer high analytical breakdowns from faces in the scene. I think I disagree. I think casual audiences would rather watch a more popular streamer that is applicable because there's more people watching them, and there's like a lot of people that are interested in them, than rather to watch a caster that is, yes, giving you good information, like vocabulary, you know, information-wise or whatever, but I feel like the casual audience is just there for entertainment in the first place. So wouldn't they be more likely to be entertained from somebody that is well known for being entertaining than somebody that's trying to be a professional caster in general? I mean, this is an interesting debate because nobody's really tried. Like, I understand like both sides to this, but I think like I'm wondering how crucial casters actually are if you can just pay Shroud to watch the game or something like that, like or pay double-lift to just watch the game or whatever. Like, I wonder if you just build the community based on co-streams alone and less on the casters, what would that create? You know, I think nobody's done this experiment yet, you know? I think Valorant's trying it, and it's kind of like, yes, I think Daniel brings up a good point that, like, yes, Nerd Street is not that popular, and Nerd Street probably isn't the number one organization to do Valorant or whatever. However, like, the fact that you can just see that the viewership-wise, just by having Shroud instead of the actual mainstream watching it, like, it's like 4 times the viewership, right? Like, Shroud's getting like 80, 90,000 people watching his stream, where the mainstream's getting, like you mentioned, like 20, 30,000 at most, like 10,000 usually. So I'm curious. I would like to see, you know, a dev focus more on co-streams, just because I think that might actually pull in more viewers. And it kind of adds a unique experience compared to traditional sports. Like, who says we need casters? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, who says we need casters besides the fact that, like, casters do, and a lot of people do like casting. But, like, I don't think anybody's taken this approach where the main official streams are actually just, like, personalities in the scene. You know what I mean? Like, streams, like, just watching the game or whatever, right? Like, I don't think anybody's tried that.
I guess there's, like, one point where it's, like, casual streamers who come here for the entertainment, but...
Wait. Real quick.
Sorry, what?
So Quad, sorry, I just saw the comment. I know I'm interrupting you, Max, but Quad said how it's important to have both. Why is it important to have both? Like, that's my question.
There's also, like, the audience that probably everyone wants to pull is the people that don't really care about playing the game or the entertainer.
Well,
so if you only supply, like, the co-streamers and not have, like, the casters, they're going to be lost, and nothing will be explained for them.
Right, but why does that matter? If you said, like you mentioned, most people watching the game aren't that person. Most people are ingrained in the esport already and, like, and care about the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it is important for expansion, though, because if you don't have those people, like...
But why? Nobody... Listen,
expand
Max.
the game.
No, like, why does that expand the game, though? Like, why does that expand the game? Because that for example, Overwatch, like, okay, like, this is a good point when we go back to Overwatch. Overwatch has tried to dumb things down for the casual audience, and their viewership did not go up because of it. The people were still lost, and people were still confused. Like, the casual audience was still lost and confused, even with people dumbing down things like, this is a payload, this is the character, this is the specific ability, this is why we shoot bullets. Like, dumbing things down does not actually reach a casual audience. It just turns off your more analytical-minded audience, I feel like. Like, I don't know. I don't want to, like, discast or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, this would be an interesting opportunity to explore a universe in where that we don't have casters and where we just have big personalities just talking over the games or some other shit that's not actually just serious commentating. Because it might actually attract... Nobody's experimented with it. That's my point. Like, you're right. Like, this is how we think things expand, right? This is our current understanding of it, right? This is how we think that we need to attract a casual audience before we expand, right? Where it's like, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you don't need to do that to expand. Like, whereas people tried to do just co-streams or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think that nobody's tried it to a serious degree just yet, though, Max. I think, like, I just don't...
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know, maybe my mind is too traditional.
Yeah.
Thinking that you have to go through this, like, there's no way that like, a co-streamer will use all the terms and they will use all the terms and I guess the strategies that anyone that just comes in, they want.
Why do you need those? I don't know.
What do you need? What?
Like the terms and stuff like that. Explain. I don't know. I agree with you that, like, I would agree in this, like, same mindset, a traditional mindset, but, like, I'm trying to, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like this would be the way of the future, maybe, you know? And, like, that's the only reason I'm taking it, like, a more risky approach. Like, this would be a more risky approach. Like, sure, the foundations need to be in that you have casters and stuff like that, like, right now. But who says that that's how you need to do things? I don't know. It's an interesting debate.
Well, at least it's like a free market on Twitch. You can co-stream whatever you want, so we have the benefit of both.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all right, last point on this. I just want to see if any organization, I don't think any developer would be willing to do it because everybody still wants casters and stuff like that. But a large part of me is thinking, like, I respect all the casters we've had on the commentating, like, thing or whatever, and I'm sure they would disagree with me to some degree. They're like, oh, we need casters and stuff like that. Like, I understand that. But I think from an experimental point of view, do we need casters? I don't know. Nobody's going to try it. Nobody probably will. They'll just assume we need casters and that's it, right? Like, that'll be it. But I don't know. I think this is something that we could maybe look into more in the future. Maybe like so if somebody tries it more, whatever. But I think just doing co-streams might be a viable option. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Might be worth a try, I guess. Last thing before we get to Casores on. Actually, not. We have two things, but I guess we don't really need to go on to them. The first thing is, I guess on that same note, like KBVU's article, they said, why is esports becoming so popular, right? Like, why is esports so big? Why is esports so popular, right? So they pretty much just put down a shit ton of stats, right? This whole thing was a bunch of stats on whatever from 2016, from 2017, whatever. And so it's a little bit outdated. It's like 5 years out of date. Some other stuff, like it was, if I open up the website again, they pulled up like statistics from like 2016. They pulled up statistics from, and they used hyphen. They use like, they spell esports in like 3 different ways. In 2015, right? And then, I don't know. Like overall, the article is talking about things that are a little bit outdated, to be honest. And it doesn't look like the article itself is outdated. I think this was a recent article. Yeah, it came out March 5th, 2021, and they're talking about stats from like fucking 5-6 years ago. So I don't know. Regardless, they're talking about how like the growth rate of esports and how it compares to traditional sports and stuff like that, right? And I'm thinking like a lot of the stuff where they compare esports to traditional sports just feels like a marketing scheme almost. You know what I mean? Like, if you like, I remember I was in I was at a Blizzard event, a Blizzard sanctioned event. I was at the Philadelphia Grand Finals, right? And we went to a bank vault dinner, right? Where we had myself, Corey, and then somebody else. I don't know if it was Jake or if it was somebody else. But we had like 3 Overwatch League professional players, and we all went to a Blizzard sanctioned event at the Philadelphia Grand Finals because my team wasn't there, obviously. We didn't make the Grand Finals. So it was myself, Corey, and somebody else. And then we went there, and we were at this dinner, right? And everybody's in, like, the lobby of this, like... It was a really cool setup. But, like, you go downstairs of this building, and then downstairs there's, like, a bar, and then there's everybody with champagne standing around. There's, like, tables. There's waiters coming around and stuff like that. And they come around, and I don't know what I'm doing because I'm just this fucking short kid that actually just looks like a fucking freak with nature. Like, I had, like, my bowl cut hair and everything like that, so I just look stupid. And then I just talked to some, I guess there was like a bunch of journalists and stuff like that. It was like a journalist convention, like a bunch of traditional journalists. And we were sitting there and, you know, they give us our drinks. I chat with like a guy named Clinton Yates. He's like a big sports dude. Awesome guy. I think his son or his cousin or something like that. I don't remember who he is. Follows my stream or something like that. But like, so they were walking around giving us stuff. We were like talking to random people. I didn't really want to talk too much, to be honest, to be real with you guys. I was just like, fuck, man, this is just awkward. I'm just an awkward gamer. These guys don't know fucking shit about me. Anyway, there was like 50 journos there that I didn't realize. Like, it was like a big amount of people. So then we walk into this giant bank vault, because I guess that's the theme of the restaurant. And then we eat dinner, we sit down, and then after dinner is over, we get up and we go talk, right? Like, they would have myself, Corey, and some other people go up and talk, and they would have some stats showing up there and stuff like that. So first, they had like Clinton Yates talk and stuff like that, and then he had a good conversation. He had like them laugh once or whatever. Then Corey goes up, nobody laughs. Another guy goes up, nobody laughs. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, nobody's making these journalists laugh right now, dude. I was like, why is nobody trying to make these people laugh? You know what I mean? Like, I was like confused. I was like, why is this not happening? Because they were bringing up statistics. They were bringing up all this stuff. Like, I was like, okay, this is just... They're talking about how the fucking Overwatch League is better than the MLB. I was like, okay, fucking sure right, man. Like, according to specific statistics, some cherry-picked stats, I'm sure you're fucking right. But whatever. And then I go up and I was like, okay, I just want to make everybody laugh. So then I tried. Then I was actually... This was like, I guess, like a marketing scheme for Overwatch League to, like, talk to these journos to kind of get the name of Overwatch League out there and stuff like that. Like, the whole purpose of it was to tell everybody why Overwatch League is statistically better than traditional sports, right? And to get that word across, I guess. And then I just fucking ruined it all. I went up there on stage and I was like, so, I lived in a apartment complex with no hot water and no toilet. And I had to use a 7-Eleven toilet fucking daily to make it as a professional player in Overwatch League. And then everybody started laughing and stuff like that. But I could like see at the corner of my eye, like fucking the actual people that were in charge of Overwatch League and stuff like that were like, well, what is this kid saying right now, dude? He's saying that you have to fucking not have a working toilet or a working shower to get into the Overwatch League, dude. And I mean, they liked it afterwards, but I was like, okay, this is probably not the ideal situation to mention how how it was a fucking hard time making it to Overwatch League, and I had to sacrifice a lot of shit, man. Like, that does not seem ideal to get out to the world. But that kind of goes along the same lines as that, like, these companies like to use statistics to kind of push esports forward, which I get, I understand. I mean, maybe that's just how the business world works, and I don't understand it that well, which it probably is. But I feel like it's not worth being disingenuous about your statistics and like cherry picking them. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what this kind of situation is. Like, they're like, oh, it's better than the League of Legends finals had more viewership than the NBA finals or whatever. And it's like, okay, sure, man. Like, according to your cherry pick stats, sure, bro. Like, calm down. I don't know. Feels a little bit disingenuous to me. All right, I think it's interview time, guys. I think we're going to talk to Casores. I think it's time to bring him into the show today, guys. So, our guest today, he's a individual who I previously have worked with, obviously. I think he's had a successful time so far in the offseason before he got signed to San Francisco Shock. Now, coach for San Francisco Shock, Casores. What's up, baby? What's up, Casores? How you doing?
How's everybody doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very, very good.
Dude, nice beard.
Oh, shit, yeah, it's growing.
It looks good, dude.
I think it makes me look a little bit older. Also, because there are no barbers open in the Netherlands, we're locked down for like another month now. My hair is, it's starting to get very, very large.
Why are you locked down for another month?
It's just the COVID situation here. It's not as bad as in the UK, but it's pretty bad. But they're just taking the Australia approach at this point, just shut everything down. And then hopefully,
I guess
soon everything will open up. But yeah.
Do you guys not have vaccines yet or anything?
Yeah, we have vaccines, but they're going to like the doctors and the nurses first, right? So for the normal people, I think America's a little bit ahead. But
yeah. Wait, is your schedule fucked by the way right now? Because you have to like wake up at nighttime then, right?
Oh yeah, it's really fucked. We were scrimming Korea time, and scrims are 5 to 7 a.m. for me. So I've been staying up until like 9 a.m. because after scrims you do like feedback and stuff. But now everybody's moving to LA this weekend. Actually, I don't know if you saw Twitter, but all the Shock people they're moving. So after that, hopefully we'll start scrimming at a more normal time. I think it'll be like 11, 12 for me, and soon I'll be moving too.
Oh, okay. Good.
We're just stuck in visa hell for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I believe it, especially right now. Well, on that note, Cass, I wanted to. Well, first, I mean, obviously, I want to ask you: were you the poopinator, Cass? We had this conversation before. How there was somebody that took a shit in the. This is a little bit off topic. I'm sorry for ruining your day if you don't want to talk about this. But you remember how there was that person that we complained about that like took a poop in the toilet outside of the gym area and just didn't flush it.
Yeah, and then you guys blamed me.
Yes. Were you the poopinator, Cass?
No, I will even say that sometimes, and you know this, people would, like, the toilets would clog, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then people wouldn't unclog the toilet. And then I sometimes had to go around with the toilet plunging other people's toilets because nobody else would fucking do it. So why would I leave the toilet plunged in the one where I shit?
But who do you think it was, or do you think it was just a clogged toilet?
I have no clue. I think somebody was just trolling. There were a few people about toilets, but
yeah, I didn't have one, but I shat in Erster's toilet. So if I clogged it, obviously I would have had issues with Erster. Or anyways, no, but I mean, I guess in that same area, I mean, we could talk about this, Cash, just to real quick talk about some Atlanta Rage stories. I mean, I will mention how that one time, do you remember with the bee incident?
Oh, that was on you. Okay, so I'll talk about this. But so,
all right,
this man, we had a bee on the floor, and Dustin was like scared of bees, so he put a towel on it and tried to kill it. And then there was a random towel out in the open, like near the pool area. So I was like, why is this towel here? I'll just clean it, put it in the washing, So I grab it with my full hand. Like I just grab it, and suddenly there's a bee in my hand. But that's stuck for weeks.
Well, so just to elaborate on time-wise, so basically I thought the bee would be dead by then, honestly, because time-wise, it was like morning for me. I was going to take my shower, you know what I'm saying? I'm walking over barefoot, fucking half naked, like trying to walk to the shower. And so I was like getting out of the shower, right? I just have the towel wrapped around me or whatever, right? So I'm walking out. and the doors open to the gym area, which where the bathroom was right next to you. And then a bee comes start flying at me, right? And I'm like, holy shit, dude. I fucking start running with my towel, take my towel off, and like toss the towel like a fucking like net, like at the bee, you know what I'm saying? And this was in the morning. And I tossed it at the bee, and then I just ran away. I just went back to the kitchen. I didn't even want to get near that thing. I just fucking booked it like a little bitch and just booked it away from that area. And then come nighttime, right? I think it was like afternoon.
Yeah,
I thought the bee would be dead by then. I thought it would have got suffocated or something. Dude. I guess I don't understand like the timeline of when bees die. So I assumed it would have been dead. I thought you would have seen like a dead bee or something like that. But Casores actually picked up the towel and got stung. And I didn't tell him it was me. He was like, you were so confused. You're like, why is this bee in the fucking towel in the middle of the... You're like, who put it? I'm an asshole. I'm sorry, Cass. I do want to apologize.
That's fine.
To absolutely fucking nobody. I'm glad you got fucking stung, Cass. I'm just fucking kidding you, son. You kidding me? You think I'd apologize for that shit? Fuck off, Cass. Hell no, dude. No, I'm just kidding, actually. I'm sure. Dude, that was funny. Dude,
imagine I was allergic. You would have felt real bad.
No, I probably wouldn't have not feel bad. I'm a psychopath. I'm literally a sociopath.
Wow, you wouldn't have felt bad if I was allergic to bee stings?
No, now I probably would have felt bad now, but in the moment I would have just been like, well, it's his fault. He got stung, you know. I mean, like, I didn't force the bee to sting you, right? Like, it wasn't my...
Oh, yeah, you didn't leave the towel out in the open without confirming the kill on the bee? You could have just, stepped on it a few times.
Like, hey, let sleeping towels lie, man. Everybody knows that. Let sleeping towels lie, you know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, on that note, Cass, I mean, like I mentioned, since we're talking Atlanta Rain, you had to fucking live in I don't know if you want to talk about this. If you don't want to talk about it, go ahead. But you had to live in like a closet for literally like a year because we were out of rooms in the Atlanta Rain mansion. So like you had this time, you had your entire bed took up the whole closet, right? Like,
okay, yeah. So first of all, I didn't have to live there, right? Because I could have shared the massive room with Dongmin, but I just wanted my own space. But after a while, I started realizing that in like 35 degrees California, in like kind of like closet move without air conditioning, it was not the play. It got real hot in there sometimes, so I just left the door open, like.
Dude,
but
why can't it was interesting. That was did you like living in the Atlanta Rain mansion or no?
I thought it was okay. The one thing that I struggled with a lot was that whenever, after scrims, I'd want to do some work, and then people would play ranked, of course. But we had Daco, we had you, and just a lot of players that were very loud. So it'd be like constant screaming. I don't know if anybody ever watched the streams, but it was constant screaming in that room. So it was really hard to do work in there. That was like my only gripe. But I really liked, like, we had a chef, which was absolutely amazing. And we were cared for very well in general. The fridge was always stocked up. So I like living there in general. Just the one thing is that there was like no separation or like work area kind of, right? Yeah,
that is kind of a big complaint of team houses, I guess. Well, because I know a lot of people have started working out recently, but I mean, you've been working out for years now, right? Are you still working out right now? Like, are you still going to gym and stuff?
So the gym is closed, but I'm trying to do home workouts. But yeah, I'm still working out like 4 or 5 times a week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard because you're a pretty like advanced state of working out. I think like you're a pretty big dude. Like you've been working out for what, like 5 years, 6 years now, or something like that. Maybe less.
I think like about 5 years. Yeah. I used to be a really small dude before I started working out. Like I had really like tiny arms, but I've been working out so long now.
You have pretty good genetics for like working out, I noticed. Because I've been getting into it, and I was like, fuck. Like, most people that would try to get your physique, for example, not to like brag or anything like that, but like most people that would try to do that would like probably have to take some sort of like steroids, right? Like some people would have to like, because if you see some of these physiques, like these fitness people, like they're fucking big, like your size, and they're on steroids, they're on like testosterone and shit like that. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. That has nothing to do with anything. But just because I've been working out recently and I have a shit diet and stuff like that, but I don't know. Hopefully we get to work out again. I'm not in LA, obviously, but it would be cool if we could work out again because those were the days, dude. Apparently I smelled bad in the gym. Anyways, regardless, this has nothing to do with anything, Cass. I'll get right to the actual stuff.
Oh, I did see that actually, where Fried came on and he flamed you a little bit. But honestly, it was a little bit also because you were the only one that would do like really long cardio. and then after your cardio, you'd still like keep doing weight training, so you were like really sweaty, you know, and that's.
I just sweat a lot, dude. I don't know what to say. What do you
No,
do
it's
about
good.
sweating a lot, man?
It's good.
Exactly. What do you do about sweating, dude? I don't understand. Well, so we talked to Zoms the other day, like yesterday, and we talked about how at least in Valorant, I was like, why does Sentinels not have a coach, right? For example, like they don't have a coach in Valorant, and I guess it's a different game. But we were talking about it, and I was thinking, you do a lot of work as coaches, right? Like as a coach, you have to sit down. And they say like you like VOD review like the entire day. Is that true? Are you spending like the entire day just like watching over VODs and stuff like that, or like what do you do? I guess as a coach, in the scene in Overwatch specifically, I guess.
So I feel like it depends on how big your coaching staff is, what you do, but especially lately. Because on the Shock, you know, on the Reign, I did more individual stuff. But on the Shock, especially, I've been way more doing like what Silence kind of did on the Reign with the strategy, the setups, the compositions. And especially in that way, I'm going through like way more VOD than I did before. But I feel like you have to sit on scrims and players just have to play the scrim, right? But most coaches after the scrim will also go over the scrim, will prepare the VOD reviews. So I'd say like time investment, it's a bigger like return on investment if you like keep VOD reviewing scrims. So I feel like coaching is a lot about the time investment. But I think there's a caveat with like you have to do extra work at times, like when there's a new meta or there's hero bans. I feel like then especially coaches have to do like, you know, 10, 12 hours. But if a meta is already settled and you're perfecting things, then a lot of it is just repetition and practice. So I think it depends on the day. But in general, right now, I'm doing like, we're not doing too many scrims yet, but next week, since then the Shock are coming to LA, we're going to start ramping it up. We're going to do we're going to do like 4 hours of scrims, 1 hour of VOD review around that time. And then also you have to prepare those VOD reviews. So to put like an hour on it, I'd say like 8 to 10 hours for sure. That you're working.
On that note, I mean, you mentioned hero pools, and I think like we, as a team last year, without you, and then with the current coaching staff we had last year, in season 3, wait, you were working for Shock at the end of season 3, right? Or did you get picked up mid-season for Shock?
At the end, before they went to Korea, but after like somewhat mid playoffs.
So what we thought as players for season 3, now obviously Land Arena had a more like personality driven, I guess, you know, players or whatever. So like we thought like throughout the year or whatever, we were like, holy shit, like why don't we let, for example, the players like take over composition picks and stuff like that, because it was rotating so quickly, right? Like hero bans force compositions to change so much that it felt like the only person that can make the hero comp decisions were the people in the moment, I guess. And it felt like we made a lot of, I don't know, wrong choices, I guess. The players thought throughout the year. Do you agree with that, or do you think that it's like a mixture between coaches and players deciding the composition still, or it's just coaches should pick the comps, or players should just pick the comps, or do you not side on any side of the spectrum, I guess?
Okay, so obviously I wasn't there in like the comps and what was going on in season 3, but I can talk a little bit about season 2 and how it kind of worked the same, because I remember there was a time in season 2 when the players really wanted to play Sombra goats, but the coaches, they wanted to play normal goats because we didn't really have a Sombra player, right? So eventually we decided to kind of force the normal goats. But I think I learned a really valuable lesson from this. It's that if players want to play something, even though it might not be 100% the ideal in the coach's eyes, if the coaches just force their comp down the player's throat and don't give the players the chance to like try their own idea, then it's never going to work out, because the players feel like they're playing somebody else's idea and not their own idea. So even though I think the Atlanta Reign sometimes might have been picking like the right composition choices, except for in the playoffs at the very end, which most teams kind of made the non like Roadhog switch, and then eventually like even Shock was playing not the Roadhog until you know, the very, very end, till the grand final. So I think
it was weird.
Yeah, you have to try things, is my opinion. If the players want to play something, I'd say as a coach, like try it, see how it works, and talk about it after, you know? And if it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, then try what the coaches want. But you can't make the players do something they don't want to do, is my eye on it now. But then again, in season 2, when the players, I think, really wanted to play Summer Goats, I don't think it would have been better than normal Goats. But I think if we tried it and it failed, that would have been better than not trying it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you felt like in season 2 Overwatch League for the Atlanta Rangers, just like a lot of compositions were a little too forced, basically from the coaching staff and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, that might have, and you are saying like, that maybe continued a little bit in like season 3 after I wasn't there, and I think in season 2 it was way easier, right? Because it was just goats for like half the year, so it wasn't that much of like composition. It was more of like grinding, which changed in season 3.
It's totally different. Totally different.
But it's still like an example we can grab from that where maybe optimal wise, like maybe the coaches came up with the best comp, but because players felt like they wanted to try something else, it's never going to work out.
Is that something that you just individually took away from that, or do you think it's something you learned from like Krusty and like the current Shock coaching staff?
I think that's just hindsight, right? And like what I've heard from a lot of players, and especially hero pools, right? Because
hero pools was fucking hectic.
I feel like there was 2 types of teams in that whole exchange. It's like the one team, they pick a comp at the start of the week, and then if they get beaten by something, they just stick to their comp. And the second team, it's like you get beat by a composition in scrims, and then you'll gradually swap to that composition as you can counter it and try that out, you know? And I think both styles are okay, but now, like, I tend to lead to if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing, right? Especially if you have really strong individual players, like I think the Shock have, like the Rain have. That's something you can definitely pull out.
Yeah, because I guess you got to put like the ego aside and realize, okay, like or even put the ego up and be like, hey, we have really good players. We shouldn't be losing like this anyways. Or it's like weird that we're losing to a bad team, and it's just because of the comp or whatever. And actually, like that, it's weird because Overwatch is just that game where it's like it can be very tedious in terms of like individual personalities clashing and stuff like that compared to other games. I think like it's very easy for like people to not agree on what should be ran or whatever, but it matters a shit ton. It matters what you run a shit ton and everybody be on the same page, because obviously Overwatch is a team-based game too. So it's just like probably the hardest, I think, in terms of coaching and like team synergy wise, I guess. But on that note, I mean, well, like I mentioned how Krusty, right? And you're starting to work with Shock. I know a lot of people like to bring it up. But is there something like you specifically noticed from working with Krusty, for example, or working with the current Shock coaching staff that is completely different than any other team?
I think I can't give away too much, right? Because I don't want to give away Krusty's secret. But I think the one big thing I've noticed so far is just the passion that Krusty puts in. He's won 2 seasons now, but we lose a map and the players complain about something like completely not relevant, and then he'll like set them straight, you know, or he'll like put his voice in such a tone where you need to listen to him. And if we lose like a block or something, he'll sit there at VOD review for like 30-40 minutes, and like if we win, then it's okay, right? But it's just a passion for like winning scrims, winning matches, and if you can keep that up for such a long time, you have my respect. So yeah, because
it takes a lot of work. I mean, to like just sit there and have honestly already like get the respect of your players, but on top of that, having the ability to put the time in, I guess, and to actually know what you're saying. It's like a lot of different. It's like a culmination, I guess. It's kind of interesting because a lot of people don't know like much about Krusty. I think for the most part, like he's the most successful coach in Overwatch League to date, and to be honest, it really hasn't worked out for any other coaches, I guess. And then, like nobody knows the secrets, I guess, behind Krusty's success. Do you guys think he'll repeat for a 3rd season? Listen, I don't mean to be a doubter, Casores, but like you're an analytical person. I mean, statistically, there's no way you'd 3-peat. All right, like statistically, there's no. It like I want to say Shock's the favorite, but like look at the math. If I did the math on my fingers, like I just don't think it's possible.
I can see where you think that. I think one thing that I really respect about the Shock and its players is just the passion for winning, right? Like if Shock's losing a scrim block, they'll sit there for like 2 hours after the scrim block, still talking about that scrim block. Teams I've been in on the past, it's like, we lose a scrim block, okay, everybody go home, like pack it up, we're done. No, Shock loses a scrim block, and they'll like review, and then they'll come back stronger the next day, So like learning from the losses is like a big part of why Shock's doing so good consistently, right?
So you will repeat is what you're saying.
Yeah, I say we will repeat. We're gonna try to do our best yet again, and I think that culture is just so important. And another thing that I think is really strong is that other mixed teams, I feel like most of the time failed. Right? There's a lot of teams that have been a mixed team that have either gone full Korean or full Western now. But I think one strong thing is that Krusty is bilingual. We have a translator there, right? So the language barrier is like almost non-existent between the Western and Korean players.
Yeah, it's interesting because like somebody's like, I think Goomba, for example, mentioned how he swapped to Valorant because he's just like, the majority of coaches in Overwatch League are just Korean now, and it's like super hard to actually like relate to your Korean players and stuff like that. But like you mentioned, like Krusty's got an advantage in the fact that he's bilingual and can actually get across things on both sides and has like a different coaching approach. Does he have that different coaching approach between? I mean, I know you say you don't want to give away secrets, but does he approach things differently compared to talking to a Western player and a Korean player, like people have mentioned? Like, does he approach it differently in terms of who he's talking to? I get like, for example, if he's talking to Violet about something, is he going to approach that differently than he is when he's talking like Nero, for example? Is that a thing?
I don't think so. I think he doesn't measure with like two different cups. It's just like just action reaction,
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I mean, listen, I don't think I would ever go to coaching, but maybe, never turn down opportunities that come to you. Do you think that what do you need to do to get your foot in the door as an up and coming coach or whatever? Like trying to get your name out there. What did you do, for example, to get picked up by like the Atlanta Reign originally?
So I'd say the most important thing is like deliver really quality work. So I was quite lucky, I feel. I was a player before in Contenders, and then a lot of people saw like my analytical mind. And to be honest, I wasn't that flexible as like a main support. I was like a good Mercy. My Lucio was pretty trash. So eventually a team asked me to coach instead of play for them. I took that opportunity, learned from it. The team was 1 point back in the day. Mirror was also on that team. And then learned from that. And then I got the trial for Atlanta Reign, which was like a massive trial. There was like 50 coaches invited. And I just sat down. I worked my ass off. And I brought like the best work example based on like the test they had at the time. I could do like, there was like a 3-day trial period. I swear I worked on like 18 hours on that in like 3 days. So
holy shit.
Just have a good resume ready for when your opportunity comes and have like work examples. For example, if I'm a coach looking to make it right now, I'm looking to have like 1 or 2 like really good documents that I can show to other coaches. For example, I think Silence got picked up for the Reign because he made like this huge thread on goats and how to play goats and how to play against goats back in like season 1 of Overwatch League or something. And then people saw that thread. I think Sephi saw that thread, and then like he was trialed based on that, right? So having like really good work examples out there, it's really important. And that's why when I was off the Reign in season 3, I started making more videos. I started making more content so people could see me and I wouldn't like fade into obscurity, right?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. No, that totally makes sense because, I mean, for the most part, like we've seen people and now players try to, like you mentioned, try to transition over to being coaches. Do you think that's like, do you have to be a good player to be a good coach or no? Like, I know that there's a joke or whatever that, Krusty's plat, and he's just like, but there's a lot of coaches in Overwatch League that are plat. Do you think that it's being a good player translates, or do you think it can translate to being a good coach?
I think there's a lot of players that have a really good analytical mind about the game, and that translates really well to coaching, right? That translates to game knowledge. For example, I think Jake could be a great coach. You've seen like his videos on like inspecting this player analyst. Like he has some great points. So I think a lot of players can be really great coaches, but there is one caveat because a lot of players have great game knowledge, but there's also like this other skill, right? Where talking to players, leadership, and those are like the other side, right? Where those are really skills that you have to learn through like a lot of coaching and talking to players. So I think players can translate well, but not every player will be a good coach. And I also don't think you have to be an insane player at the game to know a lot about the game. So the whole Krusty is like flat meme, a little bit overblown. And I think a lot of coaches are plat or diamond.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Well, on this note, Source, last thing for you, last question. So our directing or our managing director, sorry, Ren, I fuck up your title every time. She wrote how you don't post a lot on Twitter, and how you mentioned in the past how you think that it's unprofessional for a coach to get involved in drama and stuff like that. What was your take on? Feel free to be honest or say whatever you want. But what was your take on, for example, in season 2 when I got involved in quite a bit of drama throughout the year? What was your overall opinion while that stuff was happening throughout the year? Just to get your take on it.
I think for your brand, really good, right? But there were times where you cared too much about social media. I remember distinctly there was a point in time where you were checking like Reddit and what they were saying about you between the halftime of the match. And that was a point where I started saying, oh, you're going to give me your phone on match days, you know? Because
it was stupid.
There's like caring about your social image, but also you were going a little bit overboard with it. However, I do think like, shit talking is great. And then if you want a target on your back and you want clout, do it. But try to not let like your gameplay, like your mind be too much on that and too little on your gameplay, right? But I think honestly, for the league as a whole, it's really good.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I mean that's a good point because I mean that's what I recommend now to a lot of pros. But that's the thing is like a lot of people do get invested. I think a lot of the players in general in Overwatch, a lot of the Western players are invested like that, I guess. And it's just like it's like what do you do? Like in that moment, I should have been smarter, but it's like I still a dumb old kid just fucking playing the game, and I just want to see what Reddit says or whatever. Like I mentioned, I was like I'm big into Reddit and that kind of thing anyway since I grew up. So it's like I can't put that to the side, I guess. It was weird. It was bad, man. It was not smart. But that's what happens, I guess. That's what happens. Anyway, Casores, thanks for coming on the show today, man. I appreciate you coming, dude. Is there anything you want to plug or talk about before we let you go, brother?
Not really, no. I had a good time on the show. Right. Thanks for having me. Follow me on maybe Twitch. I've been streaming a lot in my off time. The season's going to get started soon, so that will start calming down, but
soon TM. Soon TM, dude. We'll have it. Hopefully we get lands this year, dude. It probably won't happen, but that would be awesome because I would like to see some more homestands, but probably not the case. Anyways, Cass, we'll see you later, bud. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you, dude. Dude, Casores, awesome, dude. Former coach of mine, also now coach for the San Francisco Shock. Obviously it was fucking Friday though, and we're a little bit fucked Friday, like hair wise and all that kind of stuff. But Anthony's bet is now unmade. His bet is now unmade.
It's literally I literally haven't touched it. What do you mean?
Oh no, but scroll to the no. Go to the other way with your chair. Go to the other way with your chair. Oh my god, there's a part of the bet.
Oh no,
there's a part of the bet that's unmade.
You can't invite anyone over now.
You can't invite anybody over. Not that Anthony would, because he's taking things very seriously with COVID-19. He doesn't invite people over.
There you go.
There you go. It's good job, Anthony. All right. It's all right. Thanks for coming to the show today. Thanks for coming to the show today, guys. We'll see you next Monday. Real quick, because it is Friday. We will, like I mentioned, we will be moving over to Twitch next week, so expect the live shows to be on Twitch on my channel, twitch.tv/Dusttin Bowerman. I will be tweeting about it and making some other videos or whatever over the weekend for the official announcement. But thanks for coming to the show today, guys. Awesome interview with Cass. I'm glad that he was open about some conversations. Obviously, I should, like I mentioned, don't fucking look at Reddit or Twitter, dude. It's really honestly, like the reason I did it is because I had addiction, dude. Like a massive. So I don't know what it's called. I'm sure we'll find some sort of fucking mental illness with it or something like that. But like I had like a massive addiction to seeing what people said about me and stuff like that. Like I just did. I don't know. Like I just cared so much what people said about me, and still do to some degree. I'm working on it though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the exact solution would be. If anybody has an exact solution, that's like a psychologist, something like that, let me know. But like, I feel like most psychologists and stuff like that don't have a modern approach to things. So fucking who knows? Maybe I'm just screwed for the rest of my life to just look at social media and Reddit or whatever, you know? Whereas you shouldn't, right? You should be focusing on your own gameplay and your own shit if you're a pro player. So obviously, I just did not have the mental fortitude. You know, I was not. What's it called? My mental wasn't strong enough. Did not have a strong enough mental. But anyways, thanks for coming to the show today, guys. Put your goddamn phone away, dude. Put your goddamn phone away. Thanks for coming to the show today, guys. Huge shout out to Siren, Tilberto, and Samantha for helping on the show in the background. Obviously, myself, Max, and Anthony are all dog shit. And we'll probably go back to playing EVE Online / some Valorant today. But everybody have a good fucking Friday. Big esports day. Today, tomorrow, this weekend. Starting back up. Getting back in the groove of things, boys. Hopefully more news happens next week. See you later. Next Monday. Bye.
There's like a huge fight happening outside my window.
What?
Like some guy hit another guy's car, and now they're having a huge fight.
Watch it. Get your phone ready, dude.
World Star.
Record it. World Star. World Star.